Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The Coleman campaign rested its case today after 5 glorious weeks of legal arguments and maneuvering. We think we proved a number of things that once the court starts opening and counting ballots, will return Norm Coleman to the U.S. Senate. What we proved was, number one, that thousands of Minnesotans were disenfranchised in the November 4th election, and that many thousands will now have their ballots counted. Number two, we showed that there are duplicates and originals out there, probably about 100 or so, that will net to Coleman's advantage if the counts are done right. We discussed both missing and found ballots in the results that will also add to the Coleman margin. We also found out that while we think Senator Coleman is really going to come through in the count once the ballot starts, there are nonetheless some disquieting things about the Minnesota system. Number one, the court in its Friday the 13th ruling of last month defined some categories of ballots that are illegal votes. And we have shown that that means there are probably thousands of illegal votes by their definition in the counts from both election night and the canvassing board. And so the court is going to need to straighten out that legal problem. In addition, we've shown that different standards apply different criteria to precisely the same ballots, meaning that some people had their votes counted and others did not, based simply on where they lived as opposed to the way they marked their ballots, and that, of course, is a constitutional equal protection claim. We also showed that what the court did on February 13th was change the rules of the game after it's been played, because in saying what the law of Minnesota was on February 13th, we proved in testimony from a repeated number of counties that that was not the rules that they counted ballots by. And so that disconnect is also a problem that the court is going to have to figure out. And today, there was really some blockbuster news in the recount. Last Friday, the Deputy Secretary of State, William Poser, was on the stand, and we asked him about a certain designation in the statewide voter database about people who voted on Election Day. And if you go in and you vote and you register on Election Day, you get characterized a certain way in the system. Well, it turns out that that designation, which county election officials use to either say people were properly registered or not properly registered, is in fact completely inaccurate and inconsistent. The data is entered by the counties, and we showed by bringing in a number of voters, excuse me, that designation did not mean what they said it did. So what we showed today was that the database that all county officials and the canvassing board relied on to check voters' registration is in fact chock full of corrupted information. And so that is a disturbing piece of evidence that we put in that really casts some doubt on whether the results of this election will ever be accurate. That is incredibly disappointing for us, because we think if they do the counts, we'll actually turn out on top. And so that is also something that these judges are going to need to straighten out.